Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 1, The Siege of Lothal, Part 1. So, they know where these rebels are based. Darth Vader is in town. It's gonna lead to a siege, isn't it? That's not gonna be good. I'm so excited to jump into Season 2 of this show. Season 2 is longer than Season 1, I believe, 22 episodes. But it will take me, so it's going to take me slightly longer to watch, but I'll be doing 2 episodes a week, as always. And as always, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. Let's go.
Keep the ties off our back.
Split formation, Phoenix 2. We'll cut across their axis.
We're part of a full-on rebellion now.
But I prefer life with our new fleet than flying solo.
Same.
We're solo.
Oh my god!
You're clear for pickup.
I love Chopper with my whole soul. Oh lord.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Phoenix Squadron.
Please, I don't want to lose any of our new friends right now. Okay. Temporarily breathing now.
His own Star Destroyer was demolished by these rebels. He takes that somewhat personally.
Or maybe if he was a better commander, it wouldn't have been.
Set up check.
We will squeeze Lothal until
Oh, great.
someone reveals.
Visit him.
He expects you tomorrow to account for your failure.
But I'm needed here. I couldn't possibly get
Come up with some plans if I were you.
To worry, Minute.
It's not so great being a loyal lackey of the Empire, is it?
You and your crew have proven invaluable to our
They are.
This one's different.
Jesus Christ!
Can't trust her. She's an Imperial.
Uh-huh.
I beg you, life is in danger.
So?
I need you to give me safe passage off Lothal.
I mean, I don't agree with her being killed, but how many people has she let be killed?
Prove it. There is another reason, known only to a few, and ordered by the Emperor himself.
Well, then she's dead before she tells us. Ahsoka looked proud.
I agree.
We'll get you out. Send us your coordinates.
Thank you.
But it could be a trap! Be aware that it could be a trap. I know you trusted her intentions, but what if someone's watching her?
Well, without authorization.
Authorization. Procedure. That's what's bothering me.
All right.
It is different from how they used to do it.
These soldiers helped save your life.
And I'm grateful.
Does it remind him too much of
Their little army.
what it was like in the Clone Wars?
Robbed from the Empire.
Still the right fight.
I survived one war. I'm not ready for another one. I saw what it did.
Even when you're on the right side of war, there's still a lot of suffering that takes place. What a shock.
So what's the plan?
Okay, so Minister Tua is scheduled to visit
Bless
Governor
him.
Tarkin
Why should we help her?
because that's what we do. Help those who can't help themselves.
Even when they've helped themselves to it.
Help us out.
But even when she's been party to a lot of terrible things.
I feel so cold.
Why does he feel cold? Vader?
It's gotten worse.
All right, Zeb, Chopper, stay with the
If you
shuttle.
try and fight back against people like this, things get worse before they get better.
Let's go.
They're very recognizable, our bunch.
Look familiar.
It's what we do.
I'm kind of jealous. I only have the helmet.
Oh, my team. Fuck. Yep. She's gone. They knew she was passing information.
You did this.
Part 1. Of course. Dramatic entrance time, is it? He's too happy. They were too prepared for us. You gotta run. Are they gonna say they assassinated the minister and therefore they're evil? Ezra's parents' house would be the first place we'd look. They know Ezra's name and identity.
The people have to know the truth.
I know.
I don't think the Empire is giving us much choice.
Chopper! Are they searching everywhere, or do they know it's Ezra's home?
If they know about this hideout, they'll know about our others.
There's no more hiding. We need a ship. Maybe we can try one.
Well, I mean, this hideout, my love, is your parents' house.
Is looking everywhere for us. Not everywhere.
The Imperial complex. Are you
Oh,
crazy?
good, yeah, perfect.
Ever say yes to that question?
He's right.
His home. A small part of him liked knowing it was there.
Guess there is no going home.
Your home is the people you're with now, my darling.
No, you don't have to check inside.
Did you just try to give me an order, cadet?
He tried.
Just said,
I wish that worked for me.
I wish it worked on you.
Fuck, they so know they're here. If I was Vader, the smart thing to do is to put a tracker on the shuttles and follow them back to the fleet of rebels.
Do you feel that?
The cold.
Jesus Christ, there's the cold war, right? He's not going with the smartest of plans, which would have been to follow them back. But I suppose if he captures them, he can torture them for information on where the rest of the fleet is. This episode was an intense beginning. I loved seeing them being a part of the wider rebellion, though I also think it is only natural that they would chafe a bit, because it's so different to the way they've operated for so long, and to Kanan it would bring back memories of the last time he was in a war, the last time he was part of a group that started off not being overtly militaristic, but ended up fighting in a war. It doesn't make the war any less worthy in a way, you know, ideally not making it a war which to stop the Empire, but the fight that they are fighting is necessary because the lives people are living are not worth it right now. Or if they are for some, there are equally others being oppressed, and making a brighter future is the best option. But I can also see how it would be a struggle to go from being part of your group, your family, where yes, you technically have someone who is her ship and what she says goes, but you're much more of a democracy and a family, to go into being like a yes sir, no sir, more type of environment. I hope ultimately they find a balance between the two, like maybe they can do some stuff by themselves but also be part of the wider rebellion, because at the moment it's not like the rebellion is ready to overthrow the Empire or anything. We have a decent way off from that. Just Darth Vader is very scary. It's so cool having him in the show, and Ahsoka, like seeing these characters. It's crazy to think that they began the episode talking with Ahsoka and then they ended the episode facing off with Darth Vader, like Anakin. But yes, the idea of it, you know, locking down the city, destroying it, turning them against the rebels by saying, oh, they assassinated the Chancellor, and there would be idiot people who'd be like, oh, that was our Chancellor, that was terrible rebels. I mean, yes, we are being oppressed currently by the Empire, but it's those terrible rebels' fault, ho ho ho, we're going to get Victoria in the election. You know, those people would exist. And there would be people who maybe aren't technically feeling the brunt of the oppression of the Empire, who would be easy to be like, oh, it's not that different really, it's not that different. Well, yeah, I'm not one of those people over there that's suffering. But also, even if you are suffering, they're suffering more as a result of the rebel activity on... my brain wants to say Lesotho and then it's not, right? But they're suffering more as a result of the crackdowns on the rebel activity, which doesn't make it the rebels' fault. It's still the bad guys doing it. But it's easy to think, if those fucking rebels were gone, we would be able to not have a curfew and we could live in peace. I could see how they would turn against you. I am sad for Ezra that his family home had been destroyed, but going back there was so foolish, because maybe there are other safe houses. We don't know if they've been caught or not, the other safe houses. I presume they're Joe, their bartender friend or whatever, he must be caught because they were following the minister for so much of the time. They must have followed her the whole way. But they know that it's Ezra Bridger, his Padawan. So does anybody currently live in the Bridger home? No. Maybe they're like, that was a silly place to go. The idea that Ezra just felt cold when they went back, and it was because of Darth Vader being there, does give you chills. Their mission, you know, they did their best, but it was entirely a setup from the start. It was still worth them trying. They still need to do the right thing, which was try to get her out. Largely, I would say, for the information she was holding. The fact that there is a greater reason why they wanted this planet. That it's not just because of the factories. But she's been complicit up till now, so I feel like if we did get her out, she should then face some kind of trial for her part. But also, she should be the poster child for why you should not work for the Empire. They will turn on you the first chance they get. So as things stand at the end, we did a brilliant plan. You know, they are resourceful as ever, keeping each other safe, coming up with the creative ways to get through, but Darth Vader knew all of it was coming. In the best outcome here, we steal some shield generators, which would come very much in handy. Worst case scenario, everyone dies. Darth Vader knew every single step of what was coming. Having him here, having him focused on our rebels and this rebellion is a frightening prospect. It's a natural one because right now the rebellion is getting bigger and bigger and more organised, and if you can break, even if it's just as simple as breaking up these cells, that would still be brilliant because it would cast a blow against any great rebellion. So I'm stressed about where it's going to go next, what Vader's plans are, and how we're going to get away from him. This was a fantastic episode. A reminder that, as always, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.